or two about the notices that we've sent out and that sort of thing. All right. I call cause number 10,830. The case being styled the State of Texas versus Marcus Joe Villarreal. This hearing is being conducted by remote video teleconferencing technology, and we are using the Zoom protocol. The hearing is also being live streamed on the court's YouTube channel in order to provide the public with access to the courts, thus attempting to satisfy the Texas Supreme Court and the Office of Court Administration orders and directives that we conduct the hearings remotely and that they be live streamed. I do not think that that is what the Texas Constitution Open Courts Clause is referencing, but the Office of Court Administration wants us to Zoom it anyway, or live stream it anyway, and so we are. Now, with those pronouncements being made, I first recognize State's Counsel and ask, with respect to this scheduled hearing on the defendant's plea of guilty pursuant to a plea bargain agreement between defense and state, what says the state?
State's ready, Your Honor.
And Mrs. Wolf, you're the attorney for the defendant. We have talked off the record just before getting on the record that your client is not here, but you are. Are you here?
I am here, Judge.
And let me ask you on the record the question I asked before we got on the record. Have you heard from your client this morning? And if not, what communications have you had with your client without telling me the discussions that you've had?
Correct. Let's see. We've had text conversations dating back all the way to January the 5th. And I've sent him the Zoom link. I've sent him the paperwork by email. I sent him a message on Friday stating what time to be at the courthouse. He gave me an email address. I sent the plea papers to him, contacted him again. He received the paperwork on Friday, this past Friday. I emailed them. He did hit respond at one point, but there was no content. I texted him on Sunday stating we needed to go over the paperwork. I got no response. I called him. I can't leave a voicemail, so that's why I'm texting. And then I've left him another text today asking why he is not in court.
All right.
And I have not received a response, Judge.
Thank you. Let me add a word to cover the Supreme Court's orders that we conduct these hearings remotely, and your comment that he was coming to the courthouse. We were scheduled for this hearing this past Thursday or Friday. I don't recall. I could look at the calendar. And we ran into scheduling conflicts with the court's calendar, and then, of course, also with defense calendar, and it was Friday, January 15. Mr. Villarreal presented himself to the courthouse and desired to make himself to avail himself of a kiosk, a Zoom kiosk we have set up in the courthouse, which is separate. That place is separate from the courtroom. And we actually, I'm trying to remember if I actually had discussion with him on the Zoom hearing that we scheduled at that time. Mr. Smith, did you participate in, I don't think you participated in any discussion that had just Mr. Villarreal.
No, sir, I didn't. At the time that I got off of our Zoom hearing or meeting that we were on, I don't recall Mr. Villarreal being a participant in any of the conversations we had by Zoom.
All right.
That I was involved in.
Okay. In any event, he was informed that, and I believe it's by the court staff, that the scheduling problems had prevented us from going forward with his plea Friday morning, that it was going to be rescheduled for this morning, Tuesday, January 19, 2021 at 9 o'clock. He informed the court staff that was fine. He understood things happened like that, and he would be here. The court's coordinator also sent out a notice of this morning's setting and sent it to his bondsman as well, with the Zoom instructions. Mr. Villarreal had expressed awareness of the Zoom instructions and how to join, but desired, again, to avail himself of the kiosk at the courthouse that had been set up by the courthouse for Zoom, for the purpose of Zoom hearings for those who either otherwise did not have that equipment or the ability for the Wi-Fi connections or whatever it was. He is not here today. He is not at the kiosk. He is not checked in with any court personnel or courthouse personnel. And so I consider that a failure to appear. And I have a bailiff present. I'm going to ask the bailiff, Mr. Ramish, to call the name of Marcus Joe Villarreal distinctly 3 times at the courthouse door. And I will also ask that he, the bailiff, double check our Zoom kiosk to make sure Mr. Villarreal is not there. And then we'll report back as soon as the bailiff has been able to accomplish that. It should not take but a moment or two. We'll stand at ease until I get that report back. Mr. Ramish. We're off the record for until that reoccurs.
Judge, our next case is technically set at 9:45. I have everybody on board to start early with the exception of Christine. She hasn't responded, but the 3 other attorneys are wanting to go ahead and get on and get in a breakout room so they can talk. So I didn't know if you wanted to do that when this case is.
As soon as, I'll be happy to.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, and this won't be but a moment longer. Okay. Mary Margaret, since you're going to continue to assist us this morning with, by the way, with great appreciation on our part. As soon as we get the report back from the bailiff and anything else that we need to take care of, we will, in this case, we'll take care of it. I'm going to close us out and rejoin the second hearing to allow some of the attorneys to get into a breakout room. Right. We have not been able to accomplish having 2 separate Zoom proceedings, I mean, at the same time on the same laptop or same computer. So we'll close out of this one. I'll open us up in the other one, and you'll have to rejoin us on the second one, which is a CPS case. Did we let you know that? Are you aware of that?
Yes, I am.
Kayla is very efficient. I appreciate her. Probably what I ought to do is ask her to remember to order my memory aids.
Oh, yeah, it sent me both invites this
Okay.
morning, so I've got them readily available.
Okay. Well, we're going to try to open that one up a little bit earlier so that I can get the parents ad litems and the child's ad litems together to discuss the case. Who knows? Maybe they could work it out. Yeah. And that's something I miss, which we had available to us, more available to us when we had in-person hearings. It's a little more cumbersome by Zoom.
Yeah, and you're the one that has to do
Yeah.
all the work.
That's right.
Yeah, I haven't minded Zoom at all. I just mind not being in a real setting with, with people, hearing them breathe and everything.
Yes. Yes.
Not on me.
Yeah. I have. There are some things that we have done that have been beneficial. I think some of our arraignments of jail inmates and pretrials of jail inmates, I think that's been advantageous. It's helped the sheriff's office.
Not having to transport.
Yes.
Mhm.
That has been a benefit. But I've not liked Zoom because, for one, they seem to take longer, the proceeding itself. If there's any, and one of the reasons that take longer is because if there's any freezing or losing of a participant, you've got to
Got to
wait a
and
bit.
get them back
Yes.
home.
Yes.
Well,
So I don't like that. I
the
don't.
major one thing I love is there's not a lot of crosstalk on Zoom. No one talking over each other. There is sometimes, but usually not. So that's from a court reporter's angle.
Yes. But when there is, it sort of cancels out both.
It's like,
And yeah.
whoa. Yeah.
So the court reporter's
I
got to
don't
get
mind
them to
waving.
repeat it.
Yeah, I don't mind waving my hands and stopping.
Well, good. The other thing I don't like about Zoom, and maybe the greatest thing I dislike about Zoom, is I don't like being told I have to do something, especially if it's because somebody else has a problem. And so I've got to change everything that I do to take care of their problem. I don't like that. I don't like the implication that one Texas judge or any Texas judge can't be trusted. They have to be overseen, so to speak. I saw an email from the state bar this last week that said the judges had been informed they have to do everything possible to not have in-person hearings. And then it followed up and said, if any lawyer knows of any judge who's not doing everything they can to avoid having an in-person hearing, you may call the Judicial Conduct Commission, and here's their number.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. It says, let's play gotcha.
Yeah, tattletale. Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
we don't trust Texas judges.
Yes, there was discussion of that on our TCRA Facebook page. I thought, man, we're all adults. It's awful.
Okay, let's get back on the record. We're back on the record in cause number 10,830. Again, the case styled the state of Texas versus Marcus Joe Villarreal. The record will reflect that we continue to be in this remote video teleconferencing proceeding. State's attorney is with us by Zoom. Defense attorney is with us by Zoom. The defendant is not present and is still not present. The bailiff has returned into the courtroom and is socially distanced from me, for the record. Mr. Amish, did you have the opportunity at my direction to call the name of Marcus Joe Villarreal distinctly 3 times at the courthouse door?
Yes.
Could you hear his response?
No.
Ms.
Judge,
Wolf,
may I interrupt?
you may.
At 9:13 this morning, I asked him why he was not in court via text message. He said he was unaware. I said, how long will it take? Almost there. 2 minutes.
If it was 9:13, that was 15 minutes ago.
Well, no, this was just like at 9:28, I received the 2 minutes.
Okay.
I don't know what to do.
Well, he's not here yet, but it hasn't been 2 minutes since 9:28. When I say here, no one has reported that he is at the Zoom kiosk or at the courthouse. The bailiff just came into the courtroom and came past the Zoom kiosk. I don't mind waiting another couple of moments, but have you conferred with him about the plea papers?
No, Judge, I haven't had the opportunity.
And he hasn't signed these plea papers yet either.
No, sir.
If he shows up in the next moment, I'm not looking for some way to put him in jail. I'm just trying to get him to respond when he's supposed to, and however he chooses to dispose of his case, be it by plea or by trial, is fine with the court, as long as he attends. If he shows up, what's your suggestion or request?
My request would be that I have an opportunity to go over the paperwork with him, and that we proceed with this plea, but I don't want to interfere with the court's other docket.
Yeah, we're going to have, I've got a highly contested, I've got a Child Protective Services emergency removal case with the attorneys trying to get on, or wanting to get on now. And I do not know how long that's going to take. As I was mentioning to the courtroom, we're going to have to leave this Zoom hearing in order for me to get onto the CPS case. Will you have some ability to communicate with him yourself? Just the two of you, Ms. Wolf?
If he will answer his phone, yes, I could go over the paperwork with him via phone if he has the paperwork next to him.
Another possibility, and I'll ask my court coordinator if she can join us in this conversation. Again, I'm thinking we're still on the record. And that is to see if we can set up the Zoom kiosk so it's just you two. And then I can go into Zoom in another Zoom hearing. That way you could communicate with your client if we get everything done, then you get back in touch with my coordinator and we can see what we can do.
Okay.
The bailiff just tells me if he will go into, your client just showed up. So we're going to put him at the kiosk. And let me ask the court reporter, I'm sorry, let me ask my coordinator, Ms. Phipps, is it possible for us to set up a Zoom meeting using that computer?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you'll have to send that information to Mrs. Wolf?
Yes, sir.
All right, then I'm going to end this hearing for now, which will also end this Zoom proceeding. Ms. Wolf, we'll get you in touch with your client through Zoom, and Mrs. Phipps will handle all of that. Then once you're through, if you'll let her know, then I will have a better understanding of where my CPS case is going to be. Does that work for you?
Yes.
And Mr. Smith, we'll just keep you informed.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Then this hearing is in recess. Mrs. Cox, we're going to end this particular Zoom. I'm going to reopen in our CPS case. I think you have the that Zoom instruction also.
Dave.
Okay. I'll see you there, and I'll see Ms. Wolf in a manner that will allow us to at least discuss this again.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're in recess.
Judge,
Mhm.
I was gonna tell you, I have depositions in Sweetwater at 2:00, so I'll need to, I'll have to get there 30 minutes early.
I know.
So
I
just-
understand that. I want to talk with Kayla. Let me know that yesterday. I will, let's talk a little bit with the CPS people and find out what their situation is. And then
Okay, that's fine.
but no matter what, I'm aware of that, and we'll take care of that.
Okay, great.
All right. I'm ending
All
this.
right.